Good afternoon, fans. Hello and welcome in Facebook land to Bristol Motor Speedway. This is the Demo 1 pre-race show right here live from Bristol, Tennessee. I'm Steve Bucknam. With me, Jace Miller, Zach Johnson from Team XP Derby Parts. And we're going to talk about some of the matchups over the last night that we had the heat draws, how things played out, what things are going to be happening here as we look at our action today, and just trying to hype things up for our evening. Looking forward to it. Jace, I'm so excited, man. I can't even stop it right now.
We get to see cars making contact here today, Steve, and I am eager for it. And heck, I bet no one's more eager than this man right here or any driver that's here in Bristol.
Well, Zach Johnson, Team XP Derby Parts, I know that you're a man of few words, but I got to ask you, you went through these heat draws last night. You've been to a lot of heat draws in a team aspect. What was different about last night for you?
I'd say just the venue's got a lot to do with it. There's not really a slouch of a team here, so it's like whoever you pick, it's still going to be a battle. It's going to be a derby, but excited to get it started.
I know from watching you guys perform and just being able to talk to you guys in the pit areas and stuff, how seriously you take this. What does it feel like for you to be at the Last Great Coliseum here at Bristol Motor Speedway?
Just pulling in Monday night, coming through that tunnel and coming down the hill, it's just like you look around, it's like, holy crap. This place is huge. So, yeah, we're definitely happy to be a part of it and to be down here.
You know, being on this big stage, as Bristol, you mentioned the Last Great Coliseum and just how it just took your breath away even coming into the stadium. What's it mean to you representing a company like XP Derby Parts, promoting that product on this big stage?
It means a lot for them guys to let us put their name on the side of our car. We thank XP so much for sponsoring us and with parts and stuff to get down here and whatnot and just try to build their brand a little bigger.
For sure. Now, fans at home, we had our heat draws last night. We have our Pro division and our Pro Light divisions that are running this evening, as well as an MWFA feature event. Zach and the XP Derby Parts running in the Pro division here tonight, and that division has 7 heats of action here this evening. First heat, we Team Metro facing Team Dirty Icons. Second heat, Team Hanson Motorsports versus RPM Redemption. Third heat, Team Octane versus Team Kinman. Fourth heat, BDP versus Toast Inc. Heat number 5, Pink Team Transmissions versus Team Vortex. Zach and his team with XP Derby Parts will be in heat number 6 facing the hard charging Team America. And in heat number 7 to finish up that pro division, Team Kansas faces Team Coke. Zach, when we talk about these team matchups, as a spectator standing on the sidelines, knowing that you have to run in heat 6, is there any of these matchups that you're more excited about than others?
Honestly, the first heat's going to be I think everybody's going to be wanting to see what the track's going to do, what tires, this and that. But I mean, they're all going to be great heats, I think. But I think everybody's going to be pretty concentrated on the first one to see how it all plays out with the dirt and everything.
When we come to an event like this, the track is always a question.
Correct.
It doesn't matter if it's a new event or if it's something that's established. The time has to be put in there.
Yep.
The expertise has to be there. If the worst happens and things don't go right, what sort of adjustments can be made for the second round to get you back where it needs to be?
I don't know if they end up just scraping all the dirt off and running it on blacktop, or if they're they can't really do an intermission enough to fix the track, so I'm not sure what they're going to end up doing.
I think the key thing is that everyone wants there to be a good show here.
Correct.
So whatever decision has to be made, we'll make it quick and get it done.
Yeah, absolutely.
You mentioned wanting it to be a good show, Steve, and wanting to see the success. As far as success goes for your team, what's it like being with the 3 other drivers that are going to be out there with you? You have 7 of Troy Johnson, the 005 Chris Collins, and the 15 of Jared Henney. What is that chemistry like on XP Derby Parts?
We always try to go out there with a game plan. As soon as the flag drops, you throw that out the window and you just ride by the seat of your pants. But I don't know. We communicate and work together pretty good, kind of watch for each other or whatever. I mean, we've driven together for, I think this is our 5th or 6th year or whatever. So, I don't know. Just go with the flow, I guess.
I think sometimes we take it for granted from our side of things that our fans that are watching already know who you are.
You bet.
But one of the key things about Combat Motorsports here with Demo One is that we're introducing this sport to an entirely new audience.
Yeah.
So if you're tuning in on Facebook and you're just wondering, what is Demo One and what is Demolition Derby and who are these guys up here, let's talk just a little bit about your history in the sport. When did you get started and give people an idea of who you are as a derby driver?
Well, I started when I was 16. I'm 36 now, so I got about 16 years. What the heck now? 18?
Math is hard for derby guys.
It is. I can't read a tape measure very good either, so. But yeah, I've been doing it since I've been 16, so I don't know. It's like a drug. Can't get rid of it.
From Wisconsin.
Yes, Jim Falls, Wisconsin.
And being up there, I mean, there's some hard charging derby drivers up there. And I think I've always said that the drivers in general, myself included, we rise to the level of our competition.
You betcha.
So growing up and running in those areas, do you think that's made you kind of who you are now?
Yes, totally agree. Totally agree.
Wisconsin, I got to say, go Pack, go. So
Absolutely.
I know you'll agree with that.
I'll tell you what, man, just as a fan of the sport, looking forward to these matchups in general. We made our picks last night, Jason, and I'm not going to put you on the spot and ask for your picks, but I know that you know a lot of the guys that are here. Is there anybody that you're rooting for?
I mean, honestly, everybody's got so much money wrapped up in getting down there. I mean, rooting for everybody, but at the end of the day, somebody's got to be a loser. You know what I mean?
That's a solid answer. It's a solid answer. Well, fans, as I said, we've got lots going on here today. We've got the pro division. Going to start things off with our 7 heats of action today. Then we've got the MWFA feature, which is the most wanted fine arts feature event. That's a very, very stock, basic build, entry-level event. It gives somewhere for everyone, any level of the sport to compete. That'll be our intermission as we get changed over to our Pro Light division. The Pro Light division, we're looking at 6 rounds of action. Should be pretty wild. It seems like it was a pretty stacked event there. Did you stick around for the Pro Light draws?
Yes, I watched them all last night.
So
then we're gonna be some good heats too.
When you were watching those, is there anybody that you're particularly excited to watch?
I mean, all of them. I mean, Caddy Nation always goes out there, puts on a good show. They'll be fun to watch.
Now, do you have? I mean, you know them from Topeka, Blizzard
Yes.
Bash, and stuff. But have you competed on the same divisions as them?
Single classes. We I think this year down at Pierre or Peck, I should say.
Yeah.
I had Trey in the heat with me or whatever. So, been on the track with them a couple times, but nothing. No battle royal or nothing like that. So
Maybe someday.
yeah, exactly.
Zach Johnson, Team XP Derby Parts. Once again, Jace, you went through the team members, but Zach, why don't you shout out your guys and just get some recognition out here?
Yeah. Chris Collins, 005, Troy Johnson, number 7, and Jared Heedy, number 15.
XP Derby Parts, they're going to be one to watch here in our pro division here at Demo 1 at Bristol Motor Speedway, the Last Great Coliseum. Zach, we appreciate you being here with us this morning on our, or this afternoon, I guess now, on our pre-race event. And we'll go to an outside look at what our track looks like, and we'll get our next guest here. Thanks for being with us.
Sounds good. Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it.
Welcome back, fellas. We're going here with Jason Diles now from Team No Namers in the Pro Light division. Jason, how you doing here today?
Pretty good. Tired.
Tired. I think that's the memo here around the track and the infield. Everyone has been working sun up to sun down on these machines, and there's a lot of time and money beforehand and even this week going into it. What has the whole process of building and getting to Bristol been for you?
Very stressful. You got to plan out everything. You plan your trip. We wanted to leave Sunday. We ended up leaving Monday. It showed roughly 13 hours. I swear we were on the road for 16, 17 hours. So I told the guys next year we're leaving Saturday.
Did you get that sense of relief, though, when you got here and
Yes.
pulled in and everything?
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
Jason, the Team No Namers for the Pro Light division, running a 64
Yes, sir.
Imperial.
Yes, sir.
And you're pretty familiar in those cars.
Yeah, I'm all Mopar guy.
There's been a lot of talk about this track. Fans, if you've been watching at home, if you've been seeing pictures, some of the pictures make the track look pretty tiny. Some of the pictures make it look like it really is. What is it, 80 by 140? Very decent, respectable track. But for a 19.5-foot long Imperial, you might be feeling a little claustrophobic out there.
Yeah, definitely. The length is perfect. Width, I wish was a little wider. Not just for me, but even the wagon aspect. I think the Vicks are going to be really good cookie cutters out there.
Sure.
They can move.
The maneuverability factor.
Yep.
You kind of answered my question without me even asking it, but I was going to say, how do you feel about, whipping that Imperial around or the wagons getting around versus the Vicks out there and stuff?
No, I'm going to drive through people.
Oh, hey, there you go.
We ain't turning.
Being straight up.
Keeping it, as they say, north and south, pretty much, just
Yeah.
keeping it one direction is going to be kind of key for you. Talk about the rest of your team a little bit. Talk about who you've got for teammates and what they're driving.
Well, we got Dan Mars, X Factor. He's kind of a hothead, so he's definitely going to be foot to the floor. Tim Toddy will drive hard. And little CJ Holmberg, he filled in because Nate Passek couldn't make the trip. CJ impressed the hell out of me at Blizzard Bash. Went out there, 3 guys, and almost single-handedly took out all 4 of the other team to advance the feature in the limited weld. So when Nate had to back out, I called CJ. I was like, hey, you want to come up and do this level? I was really impressed. And he's a go-getter. He'll keep it to the floor.
How important is it from a chemistry standpoint to have teammates that are kind of all on the same page as far as their work ethic with the Derby and stuff like that?
Pretty important. Once you drive, like me, Tim, and Dan, we've ran together several times. We can almost feel what's going on, what their next move is, and trying to help them out if they get in trouble. And that aspect of it, you definitely have to be on the same page. Like Mr. Johnson over there, they've ran so long, they know what their teammate's going to do before they do it. And it's very important, just like with Caddy Nation. They've been together forever and won Blizzard Bash how many times?
You mentioned Caddy Nation as be a good segue to kind of go through the rundown of the heats for the Pro Light class. Looking at heat number 1, Team Click faces Triple Threat. That's the battle of the Kentucky drivers there. Those guys know each other very well, have battled on local stages quite a few times, and I know that they were a little crestfallen to draw themselves here on the big stage. Second heat, we're looking at Derby Builds versus SRDB. By a lot of accounts, that'll probably be the heat of the night. Even you may have some feedback on that, but I know a lot of the drivers I've spoken to have said that they're excited about that heat.
Oh yeah, it's going to be a really good heat.
Heat number 3, Whitaker Salvage NLR faces RCM out of Canada. Heat 4, Blackout is your competitors there against the no-namers. Chaos in the Valley faces Caddy Nation in heat number 5. Walden Demo faces Ruts Demolition in heat 6. And that leaves a bye for our final team, which is Realistic Derby Project. And they're a little disappointed about that, Jace.
Yeah, they were. I mean, they really wanted to get out there in the first round, and that anticipation. And, you've been waiting for this. You've been waiting for this ever since you started that build, ever since you signed up. And they wanted to get out there and have that fun on the first day. No one wants to go second. No one. I mean, heck, why do people buy fast passes at amusement parks? They want to get on that ride, and people want to take a ride here at the Last Great Coliseum. Now, Jason, how was the whole heat draw anticipation, like waiting? Because you guys got drawn in heat 4, and you mentioned how you guys are with Caddy Nation, your relationship there. Were you getting a little nervous or thinking, like playing through your head, what might happen at all?
Well, every team show you're counting. We'll use Caddy for example. Caddy gets pulled, and then they're going to pull a second one. Well, is it us this year or what? Eventually, it's going to happen. And I've always said, and I told Rob last year after the feature at Blizzard Bash, I was like, if you want to beat the best, you got to beat the best. So I don't care who you are. I don't think I'm anybody special, but if you got a big name and I want to better myself, I'd rather go against you to test what I need to fix. If something's wrong, I'll address it and we'll come back and try to do it again. That's the only way you get better.
Yeah, I like that mindset a lot.
I got to ask you, Jason, you guys have been the no-namers for a few years now. You've been on this national stage and at this national level for a few years. You've had varying levels of success. At what point do you graduate from being a no-namer and move on to a different name?
I don't know. It's stuck. There's a lot of younger kids that really like it. Granted, yeah, I could rename the team, but the brand is stuck there. I've got kids from all over the country when I go to Blizzard Bash. Hey, can I have your stick? Will you sign my shirt? Stuff like that. I like that.
Yeah.
You're drawing attention for the younger base, and they come up and hey, they want a derby. I just watched a video on Facebook. Somebody tagged me, and I don't even know the kid. He's maybe 3 or 4. I'm gonna hit Jason Diles when I derby. I was like, man, I got haters of all ages, but he really likes me. But he did. I mean, that's how you get more people involved in the sport.
And that's important.
Yeah.
For sure. And that's what they're trying to do here with Demo and Demo 1 here at Bristol Motor Speedway. We're opening up this sport to an entirely new audience.
Oh yeah.
People that are NASCAR fans that maybe haven't been to a county fair and watched the Derby in a long time, or at all. Casual people that, enjoy motorsports, but just haven't been to this avenue. What do you think is the most important sort of message to convey to these new fans that are watching for the first time?
You want my honest answer?
I do. Let's throw
that
down.
we're not a bunch of dumb rednecks.
Amen.
There's business owners, engineers that do this. I mean, lawyers from all aspects. I mean, we just are not a bunch of dumb rednecks. I mean, there's a lot of ingenuity, and everybody that comes and looks at a car will say the pro heavy side. There's like, holy crap, what's in these cars? Look at how they cut this, made this, modified this. And they're truly amazed. And that's the limelight that we're trying to bring to the sport is, hey, we're not these guys that you think we just bust the windows out and drink beer. Well, we do drink beer, but we also
Technically
build some
garage beer.
gnarly stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's kind of a universal across the board in Demolition Derby is that the general stereotype
Yeah.
is, we're these, hillbilly rednecks that just go out and smash up these old cars that don't run,
Yeah.
and we're so far beyond that now. Even the MWFA classes,
Yeah.
they're not the old cars that don't run anymore. They may just still be windows knocked out. Don't get me wrong.
Oh yeah.
But there's so much more involved, and not just the building, but the driving strategy that
Yeah.
goes behind that.
Well, in that class, that actually brings more people to the sport. So if you can't afford to buy a rear end, buy protectors, all that stuff, like my kids, all summer long, we run bone stock. Go out and buy a Crown Vic and call Robbie up, get a bunch of wiring harnesses and fuel cells, and we go out and derby all summer long, which is kind of nice because you're not spending months in the shop building a full weld car. But that also, so all my kids will eventually progress and move up when they're ready. But I was like, when you want to move up, you better start get a job, get checkbook out. Dad's not buying all that crap.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
I asked Zach this earlier. I'll ask you too, from a spectator standpoint, standing on the sidelines here today, watching this first round unfold, both in your division and in the heavy division, the pro class. Is there anything that you're excited to see?
Actually, the whole event, because the names on the list, and I don't know everybody by their team name. I more like Rick Clark, like that heat against Bobby Whitaker.
Mhm.
That's going to be unbelievable. I mean, Tricky Ricky has pulled off some hell of wins,
Yeah.
and Bobby's always there.
4-time Metal Mayhem champion.
Yeah, I was like, the names on the list is the show is going to speak for itself once everybody. I mean, and everybody crosses their finger. No stupid step breaks.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be anything to take you out. And if it's a battle, it's going to be a great show.
Definitely. Fans, don't forget, we're here on Facebook right now giving you a taste of the action that's going to happen here tonight starting at 6 p.m. But we're going to be live on DerbyNation.tv with our pay-per-view event. You can pick up the entire show for one low price. It's a multi-pass ticket. Or you can do single events if there's only one day that you'd like to see. But we'd love to have you join us on DerbyNation.tv for the pay-per-view this weekend. It starts right today at 6 p.m. Tomorrow, 6 p.m. as well, and then earlier on Saturday and on Sunday. 4 days of Demolition Derby here at the Bristol Motor Speedway, the Last Great Coliseum. It's automotive gladiatorial sports, Jason, and you're here doing it for the first time.
Yes, sir. It was quite an experience pulling in through that tunnel.
we're super glad to have you here. I like to see the no-namers on the track no matter where we are.
I appreciate it. It's glad to be here.
Anybody you got to take care of and say hi to?
My wife for putting up with me being in the shop for the last 2 months straight, and my teammates for stepping up and coming. I mean, I know it was not cheap to get here. You spend a lot of money, but being involved in demo and trying to take it to the next level, I think we're on the right track.
I certainly feel that way. Jason, I appreciate you being here with us.
Thank you, guys.
Fans, we're going to take a moment here and get changed over, bring our next guest on. We're going to talk to Dalton Palmer from the Realistic Derby Project team. They're also in the Pro Light division, and we'll get their thoughts about having the bye here in this first round of action, and we'll be right back. Welcome back, guys. Glad to have you here with us on Facebook and watching the pre-show here for Demo 1, day number 1 here at the Bristol Motor Speedway. Once again, I'm Steve Bucknam here with Jace Miller and Dalton Palmer. Dalton with Team Realistic Derby Project in the Pro Light division happening here today. And I'll tell you what, you guys have had a rough ride of it.
Yeah.
Getting here, you had some trailer issues.
Yep.
Took a while to get here. Late getting through inspection just because of how everything has gone.
Yep.
And now you got to wait even longer. It's been a waiting game all week. How you feeling, Dalton?
I think we're pretty confident. Little disappointed with the bye. You get that anticipation and the build up, and then you get a bye, so now you got to sit another day and try to figure out what you can do and get ready for that. And
for our casual fans, they may not understand, the rounds and how they go. But we have a first round of action. It's one team versus another team. It's single elimination. Well, in that respect. And we go into a second round where the losers compete on one side and the winners compete on the other. We talked about how that bye was going to work last night. I'm not sure that everything is official with that, but
we haven't heard yet. Supposed to get answers on that here in a little bit. It's either going to be we get a lucky from one of the loser sides or we go against a winner. So
either way, you're running.
Yep. Either way, we're ready to party.
We talked to Jason about this rundown of the heats themselves and who's going to be running and facing who.
Yep.
As a spectator, again, is there any particular round that you're more excited about to see?
Honestly, with the class of people here, I think all the heats are going to be good. Probably my old teammates on Team Kinman. Like to see them do good. And yep.
Yeah. How does that feel for you? I mean, you mentioned your old teammates. Things change up in the Derby world all the time. People kind of fit in where they can run and that kind of thing.
For me, it was supposed to be retired, and the Browns talked me into running. On Kingman, I got one of my really close friends that jumped on the team with them. Was happy to see that and still be able to support him, help him with builds and stuff like that.
That's good. Fans, Demolition Derby in general, and I think you guys might agree with me on this, is really a family sport.
Yeah.
And when I say that, I don't just mean that, your wife and kids can watch it from home, which is true, or they can watch it at a county fair. But I think that the Demolition Derby community in general is very close. We're the kind of people that will tear you apart and beat your car to death on the track. And then we'll give you every spare part we have in our pit area to help get you back out there. And I think that you guys might agree with me on that.
Oh, absolutely. You got to run against people that you've known for years, and comes down the next day, you guys crunched each other up, and then you're exchanging parts, helping, welding on other people's cars. It's just a lot of camaraderie in the sport.
You're part of a Derby family?
Yes.
Did your dad run?
Yes, I'm a second generation driver. Yes, sir.
So I grew up with my dad running, and my whole family and all that. And fans that know our broadcast probably have heard my story 1,000 times, so I don't have to rehash it. But being in the Derby as a father-son situation, what was it like for you coming up?
A little rougher, honestly. You get to watch Dad spend hours in the shop and all the cool parts, and then he says, "Hey, we're gonna throw you in a car, but if you want a part, you either got to build it or figure it out until you learn how to drive a little bit, and then we'll start getting you some parts."
Speaking of father-son derbies, Jace, I've known your dad a long time. You grew up same sort of thing around Derby the whole time. What's it been like for you?
It's definitely different. You start out, you creep into that garage when you're a toddler. You watch it, and then it becomes you're helping strip out the car. Shop vac was always my job. You're cleaning out the glass, and then you're turning those wrenches. You're using those power tools. And it started off when I was 15. I finally got put into a car. We had a car donated for our local county fair. It was kind of like a promotional sponsorship car for the promoter, and it was a Pontiac Grand Am. And I always hated mini cars growing up. I never thought I'd be in a mini car, but I ran mini cars my first couple of years, and I loved it. It was fun, and they always say you're always nervous till that first hit, and that adrenaline rush will take over after that, and it does. And then it becomes, like Zach Johnson said, it's a drug. It's the best drug on earth.
Yeah. I'll tell you, as far as Derby life lessons go, my dad always taught me what we talked about. You beat them on the track, you help them in the pits. And I had that demonstrated to me one time at a local Derby where I was excited to see a Chrysler in my heat that was lined up behind me, that the torsion bars were lowered all the way down to stock, and his bumper was super low. And I was like, oh, at least I have one person I can hit. And I was talking to my dad about it, and he went and grabbed his tools and went over to that guy and said, let me show you how to crank up these torsion bars. And he really demonstrated that life lesson to me about beat them on the track, not in the pit area. Do you guys have anything like that sticks out to you in your early days?
For me, it's actually a lesson from an uncle of ours. Really started getting into it. Dad was kind of letting me do my own thing from what I learned from him. And then one of my uncles came over and said, hey, you really need to start welding up your front suspension. Same deal. Put a couple plates here, get it all up in the air. That way nobody clears your core support for you. And yeah.
I can't even narrow it down to one, honestly. It's just
Tony, what he's saying is you didn't teach him anything.
That's not true. I know he's watching on his lunch break, so that's not true. But it wires down to making those connections in the pits, meeting everybody and being your best self you can to anybody. Don't take anyone for granted. Just be yourself. And it just boils down to how many friends I've gained through the Derby world. And you mentioned Derby family, and you're right. It's not just your mom or your sister, your brother, your kids, or your wife, husband, whatever it is, coming and watching you. It goes beyond just Derby, I have so many people I've met through this Derby world that the drop of a hat would be there to help me if my car broke down on the side of the road, or I need picked up from somewhere, I need financial help or something. Whatever it may be, I can name maybe 20 to 50 people that I know would be there for me, and that just extends this Derby family. And you see it all the time on people's Facebook posts. I love my Derby family, and I love my Derby family as well.
Well said, Chase. Fans, we're trying to expand our Derby family in a big way. Demolition Derby has been a sport that has been around for, 80 years? I mean, my family started in 63, and it's been around long before that. And we're trying to expand to a whole new audience. We hope that you're one of those new fans, and that we hope you tune in with us here on DerbyNation.tv starting at 6 o'clock tonight to get a look at what automotive gladiatorial sports looks like. It's going to be pretty wild here. We've got 7 heats of action in our pro division, the MWFA Most Wanted Fine Arts feature event, which is a stock class, and then 6 heats of the pro light division, and that's just day one. Plenty more to come for our next 3 days following today. And we're going to see these guys compete in rounds 2 and 3 as they continue to move forward. And you're competing for how much?
$100,000 to win.
$100,000 to win for the pro and pro light teams. It's going to be just unprecedented.
Can you give me a cut of that if you guys win?
Yeah, let me know what you want.
Take a good $5. I'm not greedy.
We certainly appreciate you being here with us, Dalton. Anybody you want to say hi to, or any sponsors you want to take care of?
I'd like to thank old Dad Ski, Jason Brodzinski, probably watching from the shop, for everything he does for us. Scott Bauer from Postal Mopar, Brian Nearett, Jesse from RDP for sponsoring us, and all of our pit crew here helping us get all this done today.
I don't want to leave anybody in the dark. We talked to the other guys and had them mention their teammates. Let's just run through your team real quick.
So it's Dalen Brown, Cody Brown, and Alan Hassey, and myself.
The Browns brothers.
Yes, sir.
Alan Hassey's been around a long time. How did you guys all come together?
I met Dalen and Cody at Whiskey City a couple years back. Became really good friends with them. Alan I've met a handful of times from running Blizzard Bash and stuff like that, and they asked me to be on the team one day, and that was it.
The rest is history.
Rest is history.
And we're going to see how it all plays out this weekend.
Sir.
Once again, fans, we appreciate you being here with us on our pre-show. We've talked to 3 amazing drivers representing 3 awesome teams here at Bristol Motor Speedway for Demo 1, the Last Great Coliseum, and I can't be more excited, Jace.
No, you've said it. Gladiatorial combat motorsports. Give it to me now. Let's move the start time up.
These drivers might want to do that at this point.
Yes.
They're anxious. I'll tell you, I as a driver, I always get nervous before an event, even ones that I'm comfortable with. It's been my history. And I have those nerves and those butterflies this week, just getting ready to watch this event.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fans, we're going to keep you on the edge of your seat all weekend long, starting tonight at 6 o'clock. Make sure you're tuning in at derbynation.tv. Get your pay-per-view ticket, and we'll see you there. Thanks for being here with us on our pre-race show, right here from Bristol Motor Speedway in Demo 1 in Bristol, Tennessee.